Joshua from We Came as Romans, and I'm doing an interview with you right now.
So, how's Warped Tour treating you so far?
Warped Tour's been awesome. It's a lot of fun, a lot of just hanging out, a lot of playing shows, a lot of getting hot and sweaty.
Yeah, how have you been dealing with the heat?
I've been making it through kinda. It's so hot. I mean, you gotta pace yourself. You know, luckily this is our first tour we've ever been on a bus, so luckily if it gets too hot, we can just go lay in the AC and kind of rejuvenate ourselves. But I mean, other than that, like, we're by the water right now, so it's kind of windy, so it's not bad. Some of the other dates, like Texas, that we played at the start of the tour, was just so hot. You know, you'd be outside for a half an hour and walk back to the bus and you'd just be so exhausted. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much energy the heat just takes out of you.
Oh, yeah.
And, but other than that, I mean, you just gotta stay hydrated, eat food. People don't understand that that's really, really important. Like, you walk through, like, the fairgrounds and you'll see, like, girls, like, passed out on, like, their backpack in the middle of the grass. It's like, well, that's probably because you had a bowl of cereal at 8 o'clock in the morning and it's 4 o'clock right now and you haven't eaten yet.
Yeah. So, how do you feel like Warped Tour is different from other tours when it comes to being able to, like, be with your, like, meet your fans and really get new ones in a sense?
Warped Tour is amazing for getting new fans because there's so many people here. And it's just, you know, some kid might be walking by your stage when you play, never seen your band, but they kind of like what they're hearing, so they'll stick around for a few songs and they might actually, you know, really like your band. And it's really cool. We try to do 2 signings a day because, like, you know, there's so much going on at Warped Tour, but there's still, you know, we have some really, really dedicated fans that want to meet us and everything. And our band is just about that personal relationship, and so we try to do at least 2 signings a day. And in which case we can actually have like a one-on-one encounter with our fans rather than, you know, being on stage, being hundreds of feet away from everyone.
Yeah. Do you have any specific memories from this year so far with Warped Tour?
Well, I will never forget that our first tour in a bus, it broke down 3 days into it. Our first bus
In
ever.
the heat, probably.
Yeah, broke down in New Mexico, and our band ended up riding with Miss May I, The Word Alive, and then of Mice and Men to like the next 2 shows. Our crew stayed behind, put all our gear in giant box trucks, and drove 13 hours overnight. And then we had to pick up a new bus when we got to California 2 days later. And it's a little rough, but it's all good now. Everything's been smooth since.
So do you think that you've really been able to grasp a new, like, feel for music by being around all these different bands and being in close quarters? Like, do you think that will then show in your music to come?
I'm not sure. I like so many bands on this tour we already know, we're already friends with, and it's been amazing. Because normally when you go on a tour, you have like the 2-week period where you don't really know anyone. You try and say hi in, you know, the hallway when you pass each other. But already knowing so many bands on this tour, it's been awesome because since day 1, it's just been like this hangout session all the time. And it's been really, really just different than any other tour because normally you go on a tour and you know like maybe one band you've toured with before. So, you know, that's 5 dudes out of 40 on the tour. And with this tour, it's just been so different in the sense that like everyone, like if you know you're friends with this band's probably friends with these other bands that you might not be friends with already, and like everyone just knows each other. It's just a huge like family, a huge community, and it's really, really awesome. Our band specifically, we try to write lyrics just about just building relationships, you know, not having to, I guess, go through life alone, having relationships, brothers, friends that will take you through. And so being able to actually live that out, like the absolute fullest on this tour with so many friends and so many people I consider a brother to me, it's just awesome.
What other bands do you think influenced your music while growing up?
Lyrically, definitely like Brand New or As Cities Burn. I think that Jesse Lacey's a wonderful, wonderful writer, as well as TJ and Cody from As Cities Burn. But musically, I don't really know. I don't really listen to a whole lot of heavy music. I mean, of course, like I love Under Oath. Under Oath is just, if you listen to heavy music and you don't like Under Oath, there's kind of something wrong there. I mean, there are a lot of people that try and knock on like the newer stuff, which is fantastic. So I don't really know why they do it. But I mean, everyone loves Under Oath. I like Oxford's Red a lot. They're amazing musicians, the nicest dudes ever. And it's funny that like they're on this tour and like, we're actually like I like hang out with like people that like I like up listening to. I got into heavy music by listening to them. And then even Reliant K is on this tour, and I listened to Reliant K in like fall through like middle school and high school. They were like such a huge fan of me. And I'd try and like learn their songs on guitar. And this is so hard. I can't believe it. Like, and it's crazy to see that like we're on a tour together now. It's just wild.
Do you have any like concert that really affected how you then became as a performer?
I don't know. My first concert was actually Reliant K in some church, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I was a little fanboy in the front row singing every word. But other than that, I remember a very long time ago, we were still a local band and everything, and we opened a show for August Burns Red before they released Messengers. Even they were still touring off Thrill Seeker, and I was like, when they played, that was like larger than life to me. It was like it was so cool. They were so like awesome, and everyone was going crazy, and like that was a big influence on me too, definitely. But just I guess growing up and playing shows and going to shows, like I want the kids at our show to be entertained. No one wants to go to a show to be bored. People don't pay money necessarily to hear your songs as much as they want to see what your songs look like when you play them.
So what do you guys have next coming up after Warped Tour?
We have a headliner with Miss May I of Mice and Men, Texas and Fly, close to home. That starts on September 13th, which is also the release date of our next CD. And I'm really excited for that one. And so, like, the very first show on that tour is our hometown show, as well as our, like, CD release show. And it's gonna get crazy.
What was the inspiration behind this new album that's coming out?
I think being on the road so much has a ton to do with it. I was trying to count the amount of days that I've been home this year, and it's less than 2 weeks total. So it's like we are seriously just constantly on the road. Before this year, in December, we were in Australia. Before that, we were in Europe. Before that, we were on an 8-week headlining tour that went full US and Canada. And so just being on the road is just such a huge influence on our lives as a band, and then that just really just directly translates to our lyrics as well.
Great. Do you have anything that you want to say to your fans?
Just thanks for always supporting us and continuing to support us. And if you want to continue to support us, we have a new CD coming out, and then 2 songs off that CD are on iTunes right now.